Okay, solve the equation. You have x to the power of 4 minus 3x to the power of 2 minus 4 equal to 0. Okay. Who can tell me what would be a first step here? Anybody with the microphone?
Rewrite the equation in terms of y.
Okay, so you want to use a substitution then?
Yes, I will put y equals x2 and y squared will equal x to the 4th.
Very good. All right. Very good. So what we do is we start with making a substitution because we realize that x to the power of 4 and x to the power of 2 is the square of one another. So if I let x to the power of 2 be equal to any variable like y, if I go ahead and square both sides of the equation, I realize that y to the power of 2 then would be equal to x to the power of 4. So if I make the substitution here, instead of x to the power of 4, I'm going to substitute its corresponding value in terms of y. Basically, we're forcing this to look like a second order equation. That's one way to do this. So this would become minus 3, then this would be y, minus 4. So can somebody tell me how to solve the second order equation? What would be the steps to solve for y?
Well, you'd want to replace x to the 4th with the, or x to the 2nd equals y, correct? Or eliminate x to the 4th, substitute it?
Yes, you're making a substitution here, forcing this equation, the fourth order equation, to look like a second order equation by letting x to the power of 2 be equal to y. And then if I square both sides, then y squared would be equal to x to the power of 4. So the question is how to solve for this now. How would you solve for that?
Be y minus 4, y plus 1.
So you factor them. If it's not factorable, yes, you can use a quadratic formula. So in this case, you use y and y for y squared, and you pick 1 and 4, and then you want to make minus 3 out of that. So 4 would be equal to minus, and 1 would be equal to plus. You can make sure that the last two terms, 1 and minus 4, the product would be equal to negative 4, which it is. Very good. So in this case, we get y plus 1 is equal to 0. From here, we conclude that y is equal to minus 1, or y minus 4 is equal to 0. So from here, we conclude that y is equal to 4. Okay. Remember, we're solving for x, not y. So we go back to original assumption. We assume that y is equal to x squared. So there are two conditions to check here. When y is equal to minus 1, and also when y is equal to 4. So when y is equal to minus 1, in this case, then we get minus 1 is equal to x squared. So in this case, can somebody tell me how do you solve for x? We have x squared is equal to minus 1. How do you solve for x? Anybody with the mic?
You take the square root of negative 1.
So, very good. So x would be equal to plus and minus, right? Square root of negative 1.
Yeah.
Don't forget that plus and minus. Good. Okay, so can you continue then? So x would be equal to what then? X would be equal to plus and minus. How do you write square root of negative 1? Remember that?
I.
Very good. So that's a complex number or imaginary number. So we have two answers, x equal to plus and minus I. So we'll look at the next one. X squared is equal to, if y is equal to 4, we do the same thing. So x would be equal to plus and minus radical 4. So x must be equal to plus and minus 2. So these are the solutions we have. We have 2 minus 2, I minus I. So which one would be a right choice here? Plus and minus 1 and plus and minus I. Looks like D is a right one. Okay, are there any questions so far?
Yes. Okay, I just got lost just a little bit right when it comes to filling y back into x. So once we find out y and we have to plug it back into the original
this
equation.
Portion here.
Yes.
Right. Because we're solving for x, not y. Yeah, once we find y is equal to these values, you have to go back and substitute for each y minus 1 here, but we have two solutions here. Y is equal to minus 1, y is equal to 4. So let's take a look at the first one. Make sure you understand this one. If y is equal to minus 1, do you follow how I substitute here for each y minus 1 to solve for x? Do you follow that?
Yes.
Okay, so do you see, in order to solve for x, you have to take a square root of both sides. So if x squared is equal to minus 1, x must be equal to plus and minus square root of minus 1. And that's how I get x equal to plus or minus I. Do you follow that?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good. And then we go back to the second condition. When y is equal to 4, you substitute for each y 4. So x squared is equal to 4 now. Then we take a square root of both sides. So x would be equal to plus and minus square root of 4. So x would be equal to plus and minus 2. Do you follow that now?
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Okay, good.